Well, first of all, David, it's good to see you, and it's good to see you're looking so well.
Thank
Um,
you.
Obviously, you're back here now at the moment with a lockdown, but we just like to welcome you. Obviously, we've been a former Main City player, and obviously now um, a young striker at Sheffield United. So it's a great pleasure for us to be able to interview you when you're back now and try and pick your brains a wee bit on
That's all right.
on your experiences. But I'll kick off. Just the first question I'll ask you: uh, when you started, when you started playing football, what made you start at a young age?
Whenever I started playing football, as far as I can remember, I always had a football at my feet, no matter what. I was not even if it was a football, just as long as I was kicking something. I mean, Ma would have kept me a few times around the house for doing it, but um, I think in terms of obviously having my uncle Stephen, whenever growing up and watching him playing football and my dad playing football, but on the side is I was sort of came into it naturally. And then whenever it all happened, then and I sort of whenever I can remember turning up for science buffs, doing training, and then I used to come down to Maiden City camps for years whenever I was younger as well. It was sort of obviously all gearing towards what it is now. But as far as I can remember, I've always had a football at my feet and just fell into it, and it's something that I've always loved doing.
Funny you say that because even when you were very young at the ages of 6 and 7, when you were only starting and you came down to them camps and stuff, you had great enthusiasm to do
Mm.
anything you really enjoyed, no matter what it was you were doing, so it
Right.
obviously held you in good stead. So it did.
I
But
will. Did I? Like I really looked forward to them whenever I was younger, and it was always although whenever we were younger as kids, you would have been looking forward to the summer holidays and then I've just not been on the school and just having the freedom just to do whatever you want. But I was more the case of me where I couldn't wait for the summer holidays to come because I knew I had those camps coming up. And even in the morning times, if I was younger going to primary school, my bus would have came at about 8:30 in the morning, and I used to drag my dad out of the house every morning at 8:15, and it was kicking the ball out in the street until the bus came. And then as soon as he came back from school as well, whenever I got it all sorted, I was dragging him out of the house again to kick a ball up and down the street. So I loved it, like, but it was probably a pain in the arse for them.
Are you what age were you when you came to Maiden City, and what made you leave where you were to join?
I think I was, I want to say around 12, 13, give or take a year. But obviously before being at Main City, I was at Derry, and I was doing all right. But then things sort of fell a bit short and wasn't getting on the team and wasn't playing or was playing sort of all over the place in terms of positions. And then the second year then when Casey and Bugsy wanted me the second year in a row and I had a chat with my uncle about it, it sounded better, but because I was sort of in a bad position, not in a bad position, but because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do, I wanted to be playing every week and enjoying myself, and I didn't feel like I was enjoying myself. Then whenever that chance came about again, it was I think it was sort of a no-brainer because obviously I'd known all these for a long time and I knew what everybody was about. So I just thought, why not? I'll try it here and give it a go. And everybody put a good picture across for me to sign. And then I sort of never really looked back after that then.
Just when Craig's getting up the picture there, what's your best memories at Maiden City and your time here?
Well, funny enough, I was actually, whenever you had sent me through the questions, I was looking at it and I was trying to think. I was like, right, what is the best year or what is the best times at Main City? And I couldn't even think of any. And then I was annoying with them because I was like, right, I've really enjoyed myself and had great times at Main City. So why can't I figure out when the best match was or when was the best year and all this? And then I just came to a conclusion and I was thinking about it and I was like, looking back on it, I felt we had a really, really good team. And but the years that I was here, the team never changed that much. There might have been a couple new faces and old faces coming out, but the structure of the team was always the same for those years that I was there. And whenever I was trying to think of matches, like I can briefly remember matches and obviously times, but looking back on it, sort of the whole journey was like its best memory in itself, if that makes sense. Because I can just remember just playing, and obviously playing with Fu up front along with me was class as well, and we really worked on each other's strengths. But just looking back, like I can remember goals that I scored, and obviously matches against Donegal schoolboys, which always ended up in a fight, and against your likes of like Cliftonville and Glentoran, which was always your scrappier games, but it was always really good. And obviously there in the Foy Cup playing against Celtic, like it always seemed that we never had no fear, and we just always, like, because you taught us to play with a style of play, and most teams obviously back then didn't. It was just the typical boys coaching it, and just managers that obviously aren't the standards of what you are, and just sort of going out to play. But whenever we went out with Main City, we were going out with a game plan and a style of play and how we were going to break this team down, and it just fell into it. And as I said, the whole journey was one big memory in itself.
It's funny you say that, partly too, because obviously when you first came in, you know, you obviously you hit the ground running quite quickly when you did first come in. But you can see your development over the period of time in terms of from that ages of 14, and then you know, and in the amount of games that you would have played for us. So you know, I was kind of looking at saying what was one of your. Now I can. There's certain games that I can remember you playing where you scored some great goals, and you know, with both feet, and obviously, you know, there was probably memorable matches. Is there a memorable match that sticks in your head?
Well, now that one's up there, the against Anfield, was that in the Foy Cup, or what? When was that?
Say so.
That was
I think was that not a Plit final or a cup final or something?
That was a final.
It was a final for something. I can remember that, and near the end of the game, I think, was it 2-1 that game?
2-1 was I.
Because I remember Matthew Duffy scoring, and then I can remember Tory McConnell running out to like the halfway line to try and stop a striker, and I'm overlapping Tory to try and stop him, but and that was a tough game. But like you said, like, it's tough to pick out a game because we had so many good games, and like I can just always remember scoring great goals like with both feet, and just having sort of the time of it. But that Foy Cup year, I think it was disappointing for us, because I think we did well in the group stages, playing down Brahane, playing Celtic. I think we did all right, but then we were sort of disappointed then, because I think we played Derry or Donegal Schoolboys, and
it was Donegal Schoolboys. They went on, they won it. We played them in the semi-final that year. That's right.
I remember I was down YMCA, but no, like bar them big games and the tournaments. But raging, I can't pick out a game, but I just keep referring back to just how, like, I can remember bits and pieces of games, but just the whole thing, even playing down the Vale Centre, that was great as well. But
well, I remember one game against Crusaders in the Vale Centre. I think you scored 3 in that game. I think it actually was against Crusaders as well. They were kind of going well. I think Dermot, what I call him, Rory Brown, played in that game for Crusaders as well. But I remember you front 3 through Micheál and you as a front 3. Like, you were really, really good that night, and good understanding as playing as a front 3 and interacting well. So that type of game, I can remember that, because you scored some great goals that night as well, you know. So the good old days.
I know, the good old days. Like, that's sort of revert back to that sometimes with just how much I was enjoying it at the time, because I think then everything was sort of going well for me, even though it's such a heavy schedule in terms of football, because obviously then I set up and main city, and like I was training every night of the week and then having my match at the weekend. So it was tough, but I thought I was just embracing it because I was loving it so much. And like you said, we had a great time, and the players that I was playing with was outstanding too at the time, and I felt that we were just sort of invincible then, even for that age, like playing against teams.
Just going back to finish off this part here, this question, sorry, with your memories. Partly what you're saying about, it's interesting you're saying about the team change. That's something we always try to concentrate on. You know, we didn't really select teams like a lot of clubs do. They won games. We selected to develop players, so that's why the retention was always important for us. You're saying about, you know, the squad stayed the same because we were investing, trying to make players better. We were very reluctant to let players go unless it was really necessary for different reasons. Maybe the player wasn't training or making effort or whatever. But your group, in fairness, had a good application, and we were able to see that group through over a period of years, because the social component, as you know, is important for personal growth, you know, because then it gives you understanding of relationships and friendships, and which is vital to any successful team. So it's interesting you're saying about that. We had very little changeover in players. That's the reason why.
Well, like looking at it now, it's mad that was happening at that age, because you think at that age, and as you say, it's a development age, but the stuff that you were coaching us at that age set me up for going across the water. But the likes of, like, they have a good team, you all need to gel well together, and partly because we all got along with each other, you had sort of coached us the way that everybody enjoyed one another's company, and we never, like, I can never ever remember having any fallouts or just any, like, or even not even for me, but anybody having anything, like, holding anything against any other player. We were just sort of coached it at a different level for a team that was at that level at that age.
Who would you say, Parky, had a big influence in your earlier career?
In terms of, like,
well, the types of people maybe that you looked up to, or the types of people maybe that, you know, give you advice, or, you know, if something wasn't going so well for you, who would you pick the phone up to, or, you know, who could you feel that you could ask for a bit of advice?
Well, I know probably everybody's sick of hearing it, like, but it would have been Stephen, like, or my granddad whenever he was here.
Stephen's not sick of hearing it, so.
Oh no. He wanted me to say that he's my favourite uncle too, like, so. No, but because my family's so tight, and we were such a football family as well. It would have been always, like, even if I had matches, or even if I was even younger than before Maiden City, and I wasn't, like, I would always say to myself, I really wasn't great whenever I was younger, and I don't know what made it switch for me, because I was always so willing to learn. And I think it was just pure down to the fact of really wanting it and wanting to work really hard to sort of switched it for me to be able to start playing well and everything. But reverting back to even before Maiden City, like, the first person I would have spoke to would have been obviously my daddy, because he'd be taking me there and from matches, and he always took me there and from matches and there and from training, and he never like sugarcoated anything. He always would have given me the God's honest truth, and that's for a young person. A lot of people don't get that off their parents, because as a parent they want their child to be happy and not be down. And it didn't put me down. My daddy giving me the God's honest truth, because I wanted to know where I was going wrong. I wanted to know where I was going wrong so I could make it better for the next time. So he would have been the first person, and he dealt with me brilliantly. And then obviously speaking to my uncle Stephen and my granddad as well, Stephen would have done the same thing. He would have a bit more of a harder head on him, because him being my uncle, but he's been through it as well, so he knows everything that I'm going through. So he would be even more brutal with me because he sort of wants me to go even harder and be better. But them three people would have been the main people I would have reverted to, as well as just asking the coaches where it was going wrong. But that would be it. And then from watching football, then like it's easy for me to turn around and say I love watching Ronaldo whenever I was younger, playing for Man United. I'm playing for Real Madrid, and as most people might say out there, for me it was more the case of like I was just amazed at how fast they could run and how powerful he was and how skillful he was, and that like I'll never be as skillful as what he can be. But in terms of other attributes that I could say they're similar to mine and that he had, it was just amazing. And then as I got older, then watching Diego Costa, because I started to learn the game more and had to be more craftier and sneakier, so he would be the player that I would sort of refer to now in terms of having that sort of extra edge as a striker. But it's all sort of stuff you have to find out yourself, because you have to find out what works for you.
Definitely. David, when the opportunity came to sign for Sheffield United, how did you feel, and what was your thoughts at that time on that, obviously championship club at the time, but a very big club doing very well now? How did it feel to sign for such a prestigious club?
It was a dream come true, to say the least, and that's easy to say that too. But before I signed for Sheffield that year, that summer, I had the Milk Cup before that, and like I always say it, and it just proves me wrong, and it can prove other people wrong as well. But at the end of that Milk Cup year, I was thinking, right, maybe this isn't, football's not going to be a thing for me, because whenever growing up, obviously I would have seen players going to the likes like your Man United camps and your Liverpool camps that might have been in Belfast or wherever they were located, and the odd one going and getting a trial. I was thinking, right, I haven't had no luck in here, and I don't really think this is going to work for me. So I was thinking at the end of that Milk Cup year, I was like, right, if nothing comes of this here, then maybe I need to start looking elsewhere. Despite how we done in the Milk Cup, I still had a good year, played well, and I captained Tyrone and that. And then I think come August time, Daddy came into my room one night and was all Sheffield United looking for a young child. And I was like, right. But couldn't believe it. I was just sort of not scared, but like I was like, is this real? And he said aye. But I think he might have said Birmingham was looking for me first. But then Birmingham was taking for ages, and they sort of sorted out getting over and getting the process started. And then Sheffield United just came on and said, right, we want you over. There's your date, if you're happy with that there. So then went over then, and I remember the day I landed, the boy, he was the coach at the time, he picked me up from the airport, and we were driving past the academy, and he said, right, do you want to go on and have a look at the facilities so you can get used to it? And that was on a Sunday. I was like, right, that's no problem, I'll go and have a look. So we went in, and my age group was playing a match, and they were playing Preston. So Nick Cox, who was academy manager at the time, he said, he was in there, and he was like, right, do you want to play a match? And I said, sort of looked at him, because I didn't know if he was being serious. I'm like, I've just got off the plane here, and you're asking me? Really want to, but I didn't know if he was being serious or not. So I said, of course. He was like, right, get your boots and shin pads there, and I'll take you downstairs. And he was like, you can play a match, but it's not going to count for your trial. So if you do bad, then we're not going to count it. And if you do well, then obviously that'll just work as well. So I remember going up, and the match had already started. So I think I came on just before half time. And before the match, he said to me, he was like, if you score 3 goals, we'll give you a contract. So I was just laughing. And so came on just before half time, scored. They were already beating us 2-0. So scored just before half time. And then scored again just on the other side of half time again. So brought it back to 2 each. And I was thinking, this couldn't be going any better. And then they I think it ended up 3-2 then. They scored in the last kick of the game. But I was raging because I really wanted to get those 3 goals just so I could sort of go back to them and go, right, what do you want to do now? And then just had a trained that whole week with the under-18s and the 23s, and I was only 15 at the time, or not 14 actually, and just had a really good week. And I was expecting it just to sort of go back home and I would hear word, but I think in the last day then I was brought into a room and they wanted to offer me a contract. So I was like, this is just madness. This couldn't be real, like. So when time went by then, and obviously I signed for it. I think it might have been a couple of months. It was in December. It was either November, December anyway. So I was going back and forward on all the breaks, as you know, like, and every opportunity they could bring me across. And I had to really like sacrifice my education as well for it, because they wanted me to move over and start the education there, but I'd already started my GCSEs back home. And then because the exam boards are different, it would have meant that I would have had to restart my whole GCSEs again. So mum and daddy were like, right, there's no point in you doing that there because you've already started and you don't want to be going back at yourself. So they came to an arrangement where I would do work over there and then come back home so I could still do school, but it didn't happen. Like, then whenever I went over, I tried to do bits and pieces and I had sessions, but it just didn't happen. I just was football mad and didn't want to do it. I would have rather been on the indoor 4G kicking a ball about and sitting up writing stuff down. And then the day then that I was signing the contract, my daddy got a phone call. And I was like, I looked at daddy when his phone rang because I was like, I'm signing a contract here and you're about to answer a phone. So I was like, I need to take this. So I took it and he came back in and he was like, you'll never believe who that was. I was like, why? Who was it? So Birmingham sorted out, you getting over? And everybody just burst out laughing because they had just sorted out me getting over for a trial. My dad said, how I turn around him and go, sorry, look, he's literally signing a contract here now. And my mum and daddy wanted me to sort of shop around a bit and go to different clubs, but and I had that opportunity to go to different clubs, but I just felt so right then at the time because they welcomed me well and they had showed that I showed myself that I could cope with the standard, but just everything was right. The environment, the city, the people was just, and then my mum even figured that out as well whenever she came over. But just everything was right at the time. And
well, see, leading into that, Parky, you know, when you obviously worked hard to over a few years to get the opportunities that you got, and then Sheffield United came along and wanted to sign you, and then obviously the other clubs then, with all the hard work that you put on. What would you say was the difference? What would you say was the difference between obviously playing at Maiden City for a few years with the coaching, the training, the matches, and then moving into professional football with Sheffield United? What would you say the big differences were?
And for me, getting that chance or the transition on?
Well, the transition, you know, coming from, you know, from the football you were playing, the coaching you were getting, was it, what type of change was it for you? Was it a big change or was it difficult for you, or, you know, the work that you've done over the years, did it help you, you know?
Aye.
Obviously, you know that better than anybody.
I didn't find it a big change. Like most people will probably say it was a big change, but I think it was down to the level that you were coaching us at, and then on top of that, there me being in the NI setup as well. So back then, my typical week would have been Sunday Belfast, Monday Maiden City, Tuesday Belfast, Monday Belfast, Tuesday Maiden City, Wednesday Belfast, Maiden City then on Thursday, and then either the match on the Friday or the match on the Saturday. So I was already doing like a full-time schedule then. So, and then I didn't find it a big change because obviously, as I said, that workload that I was doing, I was more or less doing full-time football anyways. And then whenever I went over there then, everything just sort of fell into place because I was used to the high caliber of training every day because I was doing it there on top of doing school and even messing about whenever I got free time. But then again, the one thing that you can say, if you want something so much and you love doing it, you'll find ways of making it work. And then you can obviously find that stuff that you can't be arsed doing, you're just like, can't be arsed, so that's just going to get left at or whatever. But as I say, whenever you really want to do something so badly, then you find ways of sort of skipping those hurdles and just making everything fall into place, which happened. And I was just so ecstatic at the fact that I was getting the chance that I thought I was never going to get from a young age. And then at the Milk Cup then, and like, I remember the scout, Jerry, that scouted me, so we had a match against Dublin schools in the February time for the manager to pick an NI team to go to Estonia, which was my first 2 internationals. So at the time then, he came to watch the match, and I obviously didn't know he was there, but I think we beat them 6 or 7-3 or something like that there. And I'd scored 5 goals against them, and then I remember him, and then they watched me in from February right through the Milk Cup, and obviously I didn't know nothing about it, and all that time I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to get a chance now. Then it came around then that it was watching me in Milk Cup in, and obviously everything fell into where it is now. But in terms of the big change, like some younger boys now probably won't have that workload that I had, because it'll sort of be catered around protecting their bodies with everything that goes on now. But although that might not happen now, I was very grateful it happened then, because that then set me up to doing that, having a full-time schedule a footballer has, and just being every day and having matches 2 times a week. So in terms of big changes, I found them slim, because I wanted those changes to happen. But whenever they did happen then, it still all felt the same. Because then even whenever I came back from Sheffield then, no, you're right. Whenever I came back from Sheffield then, I was going straight into the main city and the matches and everything. So everything, it was just an ongoing cycle.
Well, you did make a big commitment, in fairness, throughout the coaching. You never missed training. You obviously never missed your trips to Belfast doing your training, and then so that enthusiasm and drive and energy you had was what made it all happen for you. As you say, you enjoyed it as well, and you wanted to learn, which is the key thing. So
whenever I would have finished school on a Monday and a Wednesday, I would have walked from St Hugh's right over to the train station on the other side, just so I could get a lift with Alex up to Belfast. And then we weren't getting back in to 12 o'clock, after 12 o'clock at night. And having to do it all again then.
It was well worth it, but wasn't it?
Aye. It was.
What would be your typical week now, Parky? Well, obviously not now at the minute, but when you're back in training full time, what's your full sort of weekly schedule between training, between matches, gym on the pitch?
Well, whenever I was with the 23s, it would have been, so we would have had our matches on a Monday. So say our week would have started probably on a Wednesday. So you go on, you train. Wednesday would be a tough day. You'd have 2 pitch sessions and a gym session. And then you would have Thursday would be the same. Friday would be the same. And then, well, Friday might be sort of tailored to just 1 pitch session and a gym session. Saturday we would have off. And then Sunday it's a match prep, which is just obviously just your technical side of it and getting prepared. But obviously during that week, the pitch sessions are tailored around your opponent. So you'd have analysis sessions as well, mixed in with them 3 sessions. And then match prep Sunday, and then along with an analysis session. And then Monday would be your game. And that's the way our typical week would look like with the 23s. But then obviously it changes whenever you're doing you're in a first team environment, which I have been now. So they are they are quite hectic, like, and then they got harder there too whenever I came back from Derry there, because they brought new staff in and they were solely just focused on fitness. So we were doing those sessions, the same amount of sessions, but then we were doing runs as well at the end of them and just really getting busted, like.
Marky, what, in terms of your games, what's your biggest game, your most memorable game, a game that springs to mind that you've played on so far in your career?
At Sheffield or overall?
Anywhere.
Dundalk versus Derry in the final.
Right.
Last year in the EA Sports Cup. That would be the biggest one.
That's your most memorable one?
Well, for the I can remember every match of the game was a memorable one. But that would, for the occasion that it was, that would be, thinking about it now, it would be one of the most memorable. But then obviously scoring 4 against Waterford as well in the league, that would be probably one that would stick out the most as well. Like, I don't have a lot of experience in terms of different games now, so I always feel like I'm just repeating myself and going back what just happened. But I can only tell how I felt and how it meant to me too.
So much even scoring 4 both in the Waterford game, particularly. I remember one was a special one from distance, isn't that right?
Aye.
That's right.
With 35 yards out.
Flew in the top corner.
That just, after scoring that one, just sort of took me back to my main City days, because most of them goals back in was just I turned and hit them.
Spectacular. Going on to your international career so far, obviously you've had success with Northern Ireland at 17s, 19s and 21s. What's your opinion, recollection on international football?
Well, I would rate it really, really highly, because I think in terms of development, I think I might have been reverting back to them 2 games that I was working to get on the squad against Estonia. We went away, I think it was 13 whenever we went away, and that really set me off to sort of living in England, because we would have had those trips every couple of months where we'd be going away to a different country, and we'd either be there for 2 weeks or 10 days. And because I was spending that time away from my family, I was sort of gearing me towards living away from my family and friends full time then. But it's another achievement, so to say, like, just to sort of prove how well I was doing in that. It was another achievement in the sense of, right, I was doing well in the National League, which we were playing in, and then obviously playing in the Northern Ireland as well. That got me the recognition for our Sheffield United. But if you get the opportunity, it's amazing, and just try and work as hard as you can to sort of stick with it, because it's obviously proven to give people chances as well.
Can you remember your first goal for the 21s?
Aye, against Estonia again. I don't think that's my first and only one, is it?
Do you remember it?
Aye.
Long ball. We were just watching it earlier on. There, long ball from Ian Donnelly. Defender hasn't dealt with it well in the box. Came back out. I can't remember who headed it back across.
Joe Cooper. He headed it across, and
then you just calmly stroked it with the inside the right foot in the corner.
That's it. And then man of celebrations then.
I enjoyed your celebration. You were happy.
I was too happy. No, well, it was a big deal because it was only 17, so it was a big deal for me, because I was making another statement. To not only the manager, but they obviously Sheffield and whoever else was watching that. Even though I was 17 playing my boys that were 20, 21, 22, like, just proving that I could do it again, and just that was the next step for me at that age. So, and then I took a step and I sort of could show what I could do. But that's another sort of style of play then, where I feel sometimes whenever I'm playing for Northern Ireland, I'm not getting those opportunities regularly for goals because of sort of what everybody sort of classifies Northern Ireland as. It's just your typical long ball side, and we did it more then. Like whenever Ian Barclough came in, he coached us to play, and we did that, and we did do it really well at times. But then I think we always reverted back too much to whenever it wasn't going so well for us. Like we had a brilliant campaign, but there was times in matches where it wasn't going so well, and we were just bombing it. And obviously, it does suit me because I love running behind, but there's ways of doing everything as well. So there's no point putting the ball in behind for me to catch if nobody's going to get up along with me.
So, Park, you told us earlier about your couple of experiences with Derry, obviously the cup final and the scoring 4 against Waterford. Talk us through the whole experience and any time that you've been on loan. You know, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about maybe stepping away from under 23s football and playing men's football? You know, how have you found it all?
I found it obviously challenging at times, but you're not. It just goes to show that you're not guaranteed anything. Like my first 2 loans, which I'm not really a fan of because of how they went against Tamworth and Boston. At that sort of level, it's sort of everybody's sort of in it for a job and just trying to sort of not make a living, because I know you're obviously earning some sort of money down there, like, but the most of the boys that's there, it's a wage that they need for the family, like. So it's sort of, in terms of going under the politics of football, and they weren't too great of loans because they don't really see the sort of development side, because there might be a team that's trying to push to get on the next league to sort of get more money and etc. But them two, I'll park the bus on them two because they weren't too great. Like, and then obviously moving on to there then, whenever Deggy was assigned to the manager again, he rang me, and I remember the full conversation, and just obviously pitched it across to me, not to make a decision there and then, as you know, like, but just explained to me what he had planned to do for that year, and with coming back in, and what he wanted to make right from being there previously, and what he was trying to build again. And the one thing that sticks out is that he was just trying to rebuild a similar type of team that they had whenever they won the treble, and everybody would have sort of looked at it as if they say, right, this lad's going home, he can't cope, so he's just going to go back to his hometown team. So, and that was never the case, and Decky always put that to me and always reiterated it to me as well, because he even said to me on the phone, he was like, I'm not looking for you to stay here, to bring you back to stay here. For me, I want you to come back so I can make you a better player, to go back to Sheffield and prove to them that you're a better player. And like, him saying that meant a lot to me, because you can get a lot of managers out there to just tell you what you want to hear just in order for you to come there, and that's what happened the past 2 times. So obviously I was wary, but then with knowing Deggy for a longish time as well, I can trust him. So he brought the idea across very well, and then obviously rang Stephen as well, had a chat with him, and he thought that was a good idea as well. So it sort of, from that night, having that conversation, it was more of, I could see an opportunity here where I've got another step, I've got a pathway to playing first team football. And I knew, like, nothing's guaranteed in football, so I knew I was never going to be walking straight onto a team. And it all got sorted out, and then I signed in just before Christmas.
How did you find the games? You know, coming from under 23s, there's a lot of chat about academy football in England and all this tiki taka, and it's not really, you know, there isn't a competitive edge. You know, I would say that there's definitely that in the League of Ireland.
Well, that's very true. Same idea as what Maiden City has. Like, academy football is all about development, and it's as weird as it is. 23s football, or sort of academy football, so to say, never really suited me because of the type of player that I am. And that's not me saying I wasn't good at it or this, that, and the other, but the style that I played didn't suit the style that academy football was. Like, it obviously worked because it was keeping me there and I was doing well, obviously, but in terms of like the outcome goal of being a first team footballer, I was never going to showcase myself as best as I could. And then that I found that out then later on after I finished my loan with Derry and came back to Sheffield, that I was going back in there playing 23 games because just to keep fitness, because I couldn't play until January. And I hated the games. Not that I didn't play well, just the games weren't great because I was reverting back to long ball football, and you have players there that are fighting to get a pro contract. You have players there who just aren't going to cut it for the game, and then you have players there that are might actually have a chance. And there's too much of a mixed bag in 23s football for it all to work. And then leading that into Derry, then I remember the first game against UCD. I just felt like I had a turbo engine on me the whole time, and obviously the excitement and the crowd and everything. As you know, what the Brandywell creates, like it was just a madness night, and it was another statement created. And then going on in the Shamrock Rovers on the Monday, it was horrible in the sense of how tough it was, because we had pre-season games, and I'd done well in pre-season, and I made a point of standing out over everybody else during pre-season because I knew I had that advantage in fitness because I was just coming off a season with Sheffield, so I knew I had that advantage over every other boys because they were just coming back from an off season, and I used that advantage. They make that statement. They say, right, I'm fit now, but I'll smash everything else that you're going to put in front of me, and I did, and I got my rewards for it, and then it sort of seed me out the rest of the season. But in terms of difficulty at the start, I found it tough because it was my first time playing against proper men that are doing the same as me, but they're actual men, and I'm a teenager. And then having a schedule then of like we had UCD on the Friday, Shamrock on the Monday, Cork on the Friday, and then we either had a match on the Monday, which I don't think we did have, but then even just having those three games in the space of a week, I remember getting on the bus after Cork and thinking, I can't move, and I'll not be able. I need 2 weeks off or something. But the schedule was hectic. But then it's like everything else. You need to adjust and let your body get used to everything in the schedule. But at the start, I found it tough, but I could cope with it. But then as time went on, the weeks got better. I was finding more ways of being craftier and using my strengths up against opponents, and just what you're supposed to do, find out about yourself, what you're good at, what you're not good at, and then and because there only is 10, 11 teams in the league, and we're playing them 4 times, the first game sort of like a breaker where you can sort of eye them up and see what's going to happen, and then obviously the second and the third game, then you're playing against those players. And I remember going into the third and the fourth games, I felt like I was miles above everybody else because I had gotten technically better, stronger, and smarter and craftier. And I felt that the better I got at doing that there, the more that my opponents couldn't handle me. But I know that they're going to full time and have been in the league for years. And then because I was having that advantage of being young and sort of still in that development stage, like I developed throughout that whole year and sort of used it in games, if that makes sense. But then it didn't get easy. Well, it got easier, but not in the sense of where it was a breeze. It got easier in the sense of where I was saying to you, where I got smarter, fitter, stronger, and better technically. That's how it got easier for me, because I was playing better, and I didn't find anything too tough because I knew what I was coming up against, and I knew also what I'd learned and what I could do.
It just shows you all the experiences that you're getting, partly with, from you obviously went across, and then, your training and the pro game, international stuff, and then going on loan. how all them experiences are so important, you know, for your own development as well, and how they're helping you, good and bad at times, because obviously there's like anything, there's obviously bad experiences that can make you stronger too as well. And that's what we always found about yourself. You know, you always bounce back from a challenge, or if there was a little bit of adversity at times, you always bounce back from it, and you show good resilience. And the good thing about for you as being, because we've had lots of players in the Maiden City program, and what we've done over the years, and players that went across and trials and obviously been in the program, and you typify that as a young player of your determination and desire and dreams to make it happen. See now at the moment, like for our younger players, because we've got a lot of good, really good younger players coming through at the moment, who are learning, who have dreams like yourself. What bit of advice would you give our young players, you know, going to try and get an opportunity now? What would they need? What kind of things would they need in their game? You know, the experience, you know, going into that type of situation now, and understand what would be the one or two things would you say would be the requirements?
Well, it's easy said, but number one is obviously you need the hard work and determination for it, because as I said, in my younger years, very younger years, I would have classified myself as not a great footballer, but just loved doing it. And then obviously, as I said earlier on, because I loved it that much and just loved football full stop, it made me want to work harder. Sorry. But obviously, working hard, that's a given, and that's what, if you want to have a chance, that you're just going to have that, number one, because you're going to come up against challenges where you're just going to have to put them aside. Like, I always felt that I was lucky in the sense of, for whatever reason, I don't know why, but every time I was set with a challenge, the likes of making a debut or having to show up, and it's, my mum was always at every dairy game, and she would always have said, and it's easy her saying it because she's my mum, like, and everybody's mum, but she would always said that I play, not that I play better, but I cope better whenever I'm playing with pressure. Now, and that's something I've always felt whenever I've played on big occasions, and I've been making my debut for the likes of the 21s, Derry, Sheffield, whenever I was 14. I've always proved myself, and either that be a switch in mindset where I have to focus more, or know that the pressure's on. I don't know, but I always find that that's something that happens to me. But it's also down to, you've worked so hard. They play in your finals against Dundalk. You've worked so hard to get your chance in Sheffield United. And the one thing that I would say, if I can get better by standing out in the street, kicking the ball against the wall, or standing out at 8:15 with my dad waiting on the bus, I'm not saying everybody has to do it. I'm not saying that they will do it, but little's nothing. Like, there's doing little's no requirement. And like, even now, like, I'm doing all my fitness stuff now, and I'm working, and I'm on the bike and stuff. I'm still out in the back kicking the ball, not just because I know I have to do it, because I can probably get away with not doing it now because of the level that I'm at, but I still do it because I want to be kicking a ball, and it's always reverting back to having that love for the game. And for somebody so young, it's just, in terms of Maiden City, because of how high level most of your coaches are, it's for the young players that's there at Maiden City, it's always listed because it's coaches know best. Like, even whenever I was younger, mainly you and Kesey, and you always would have told me where I was going wrong, and even if I tried to revert back to a sentence, but this, but that, you always would have went, no, that's it, that's where you're going wrong, end of. And I just took that and took it with a punch of salt, because I knew you were looking out for me in terms of football, but also trusted everything that you were saying. And that was also down to, obviously, everything that you have developed even before I was in the system, like, because obviously your background over in England, it's, everybody has their own pathway, and you have had those experiences over in England to better yourselves and obviously better Main City as well. So for the young players, it's obviously work hard and listen to you as well whenever you're coaching, because we're only 10, 11, 12 and some of us might be telling you what to do, like, but ultimately you know best.
Well, I think that was one of the things when we talked about, because when we're bringing players into the club, obviously at different ages or different teams, whatever it is, we always look to see, right, what have they got to offer. And obviously the training program is very important to us, and when you came into the club when you were a young age, I can remember sitting with your fella in DW, we talked about this, and you says, well, what can Maiden City do for me? How can they improve me? So, it was important that we kept standards high in our training to be able to help you and other players, as well. But I'm sure that obviously, like everything, you were probably right in that conversation when you went but to me. But I always had the last word, which was probably not right at the time. But at the end of the day, the good thing about you is, which is very pleasing for all our coaches and everybody, I'm sure the boys, especially there sitting there, will say that you've done tremendously well. There's a lot more in you. There's a lot more that's going to happen for you, and your attitude, your application, and obviously what we're looking for in the young players that come to us is more that typifies what you're doing. So full credit to you, because more success and more things happening for you as well, which is important. And as you say, you can always lift the phone and speak to people, whoever it is. And we can always give you a bit of advice, or Stephen can give you a bit of advice, or whatever it is, But the thing about it is, you're working hard at it, and there's a lot more for you to come, as well. But
well, that's it. Like even though I'm not a Main City player no more, I still feel like I'm involved, because even if I'm back home, like I will call in and see or whatever, like, and still have a regular chat whenever I'm back home, and it's always good to do these things as well, because then I can catch up these as well. And like, I always feel like I'd be happy to do whatever I can to give back as well, because then again, like, although it's easy to put it on me and say he worked hard from a young age to get where he is, but it's not just me. Like, and this is always something I've always said to always, that I don't think I would be where I'm at if it wasn't for me being at Main City, because unlike the other clubs that are about the town, they're obviously clubs that's playing football and they're doing it for love of it as well. But with Main City, there's an actual plan, and whenever I was there, the plan was, we were always gutted whenever we were getting closer to 16, because 16 was our last year playing with Main City, and I know it's different now because you have that first team, but at that age, we're trying to develop us in a way that you could possibly get us a chance across the water at 16. But then there again, like, I solely believe that I wouldn't be where I am unless I did make that move to Main City.
Well, listen, David, just wrapping up, it's been great talking to you, because I think you're a good testimony to young people within our programme, because I think everything you've said there is, not only have you got a high work ethic and you deserve to be where you're at, but you're also well grounded, and plus the fact, I think the relationship that we have had with yourself has been helped with the fact that Stephen's your uncle and I'm with us, and your dad knows us quite well, so we don't have any, there's trust issues, there's no trust, you know what I mean? So we currently have a lot of that at times in our programme with parents. Sometimes there's a wee bit of, which is understandable, because mums and dads, as you rightly say, they love their kids unconditionally, and we do have challenges with that. So I think the testimony that you've given today obviously backs that up. If you work hard, and we are placed to try and help you as best as what we can with the experiences that we have had. So I think you've came across really well today, and I appreciate you giving us the time. And I wish you continued success, and I have no doubt that you will be a success moving forward.
No problem. Thanks very much for having me.
Thanks very much for your time, Bertie.